Hello everyone. Love, it has not been easy. It came to me not in roses and promises, but in the quiet strength of CEO Toan's eyes, in his unwavering kindness when the world turned away. But now, the question lingers in every whispered prayer: will we get married? Will love be enough when doubts surround us? Who will stand with us when the winds of family and fate try to tear us apart? In the face of judgment, in the silence of hesitation, will anyone believe in us the way we believe in each other?
That morning, the sky over the city was soft with golden clouds, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of new beginnings. No one could have guessed that it would be the day when everything changed. For Toan and Ly Tu Diem, to people from worlds apart, bound by a love forged through pain, loss, and hope. Toan stood by the window of his office, overlooking the city he helped build. His heart, though calm on the surface, was in turmoil. Rumors had already spread, whispers about the mysterious woman living under his protection. Some saw her as a charity case. Others claimed she was after his wealth. But Toan knew the truth. Diem was the one who had saved him when he was broken and lost. She was the only one who saw the man beneath the title of CEO and still stayed. Ly Tu Diem, meanwhile, had never dreamed of luxury. Her days were simple, filled with quiet acts of kindness and quiet battles against fear. But Toan's love had lit a corner of her heart she thought had died long ago. Even now, in the quiet room of his mother's home, she questioned her place in his life. Will I ever be enough? She asked herself, folding the same blanket she had once used to cover him in the forest. "I've faced storms and betrayal," he said, voice firm yet tender. "But the one person who has never failed me is sitting beside me. I don't care about status. I care about the truth. And the truth is, I want to marry her." Tears welled up in Diem's eyes. She had never imagined a life where someone would choose her so openly. From the corner, Toan's best friend nodded in support, and his mother gave a small, meaningful smile. Diem's fingers trembled as she clutched Toan's hand tighter. They were no longer alone, and though the road ahead would not be easy, one thing was now certain: love, when real, gathers quiet strength from the people who choose to believe in it. The days that followed were filled with anticipation. Toan and Diem, though surrounded by the noise of public curiosity and the expectations of high society, found comfort in the quiet moments they shared. A walk under the blooming sakura trees in the company's garden, a shared cup of tea on the balcony at dusk, or just a soft glance across a room full of people. But not everyone was pleased. A board member of Toan's company, Mr. who had always hoped Toan would marry into a wealthy family to secure corporate alliances, voiced his disapproval at the next board meeting. "With all due respect, CEO Toan, your relationship with that woman, Ly Tu Diem, may cause instability. Investors talk, partners hesitate." Toan's jaw tightened, but his voice remained calm. This company was built not on gossip, but on integrity, hard work, and resilience, the same values Diem lives by. If anyone believes otherwise, they are free to walk away. The room fell silent. Diem, unaware of the confrontation, had spent her morning preparing traditional tea and a small handmade scarf for Toan's mother, a gesture of gratitude and humility. When she handed the gift to the older woman, her voice was barely a whisper. "Thank you for allowing me to stay, and for believing I am not just a shadow from the past." Toan's mother unfolded the scarf and smiled. "You remind me of myself when I was young. Strong, quiet, and afraid to ask for too much," She took Diem's hand. But love, real love, Diem, that doesn't come often. When it does, you must fight for it. Later that night, Toan returned home weary but determined. Diem met him at the door, her eyes searching his. Was it a hard day? Yes, he nodded, but I've never been more certain of anything. He knelt down, not with grandeur or diamonds, but with sincerity that shook Diem to her core. Will you be my wife, Ly Tu Diem? Will you face the storms beside me, not behind me, but as my equal? Tears streamed down her cheeks. She didn't need promises of wealth. She had seen him weak. He had seen her broken. And still, they chose each other. Yes, she whispered. In that moment, no approval from society mattered. No past could haunt them. What stood between them was a love carved through hardship, and standing behind them now was a small, growing circle of support. A mother who had opened her heart, a loyal best friend, and even a few quiet admirers who saw in them something rare. The wedding was not scheduled yet, but their hearts had already said the vows. Hi, Jack. The news of their engagement spread quickly, not through tabloids or flashy press releases, but through quiet confirmation. A warm photograph of the couple standing under a blooming tree in the company's garden, hands gently intertwined, was enough for their close circle to understand the bond was real. Toan's mother, now one of their strongest allies, took the initiative to organize a simple engagement dinner. No extravagance, she told the staff, just family and those who truly care. On the night of the dinner, Diem stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the delicate dress loaned to her by Toan's mother. Ivory silk, simple yet elegant. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of all she had endured to arrive at this moment. Toan entered the room quietly. He looked at her as if seeing a miracle. You look like the beginning of everything I ever hoped for, he whispered. Dinner was intimate. Toan's closest friend, Toan, raised a quiet toast to people who've walked through fire and found each other on the other side. May you always choose each other, no matter how loud the world becomes. Diem glanced around the table, faces once unfamiliar, now softened with warmth. Even the housekeeper, who once looked at her with suspicion, now smiled kindly and served her extra sweet soup. For the first time in a long while, Diem felt like she belonged. But outside this warmth, shadows still loomed. Mr. Hung, the company's vice director, who had long been hiding corruption in the company, saw Diem's rising presence as a threat. She's turning him soft, he sneered to an associate. Sentimentality ruins business, I'll make sure she's not standing beside him when it counts. Unaware of this, Diem continued preparing herself for a new life, not of luxury, but of stability, purpose, and shared dreams. She began learning about the company, attending community projects, and quietly helping staff behind the scenes. Toan never pushed her to change. He only offered support when she reached for more. One afternoon, Toan found Diem in the company library, surrounded by documents. She looked up, her eyes full of quiet determination. I want to understand your world, she said, so that when I stand beside you, I stand strong. He smiled and sat beside her. You already are. Their love was not a fairy tale. It was a storm-weathered tree, rooted deeply, swaying gracefully, and slowly bearing fruit in the sunlight of new beginnings. And though danger still lingered, and opposition would return, for now, they had peace, and they had each other. Life lesson from the story of Toan and Diem. in a world often clouded by status, pride, and expectations. The love story of Toan and Diem reminds us of something simple but powerful. True connection comes from the heart, not from titles, wealth, or perfection. Diem came from hardship. She had no powerful name, no money, and no protection. Yet, she had a kind heart, courage, and dignity, things that no one could take away from her. Through storms of rejection, poverty, and even betrayal by her own family, she kept moving forward with quiet strength. Her value was not in what she owned, but in who she was. Toan, despite being a successful CEO, found himself in a moment of helplessness when he lost his memory. It was in that vulnerable state that he met Diem, not as a powerful man, but as a human in need. And Diem didn't care about his status. She cared for him simply because he was another person in pain. This kind of love, selfless, raw, and real, is rare. Their relationship was not welcomed by everyone. Some saw Diem as a threat. Others judged her for her past. But in the end, love that is patient, respectful, and brave will always find a way. Toan's mother, once hesitant, became a supporter not because Diem changed who she was, but because Diem stayed true to her kind and honest nature. The greatest lesson we learn from their story is this: love is not about perfection or timing. It is about understanding, standing by each other through hardship, and choosing each other even when the world says not to. People may try to divide, challenges may rise, but when the people walk forward with trust, respect, and compassion, they can build a bond that no storm can break. In the end, it's not the grand gestures or luxury that matter. It's the quiet loyalty, the everyday care, and the shared hope that make a love story lasting.